So the last time you guys saw me was over 4 years ago when I was 20 years old, and the pandemic didn't happen until about a week or so later, maybe even 2 weeks. So, given that I'm back on YouTube, maybe we should talk about some of the things that I plan on doing for the future and maybe explaining where I've been for the last 4 years. So, 4 years ago, I left YouTube because I had a lot of financial issues, but not only that was there was also a lot of other issues relating to the entire process of how I do YouTube videos. And TLDR, I wasn't making good content at all for the entirety of my time on YouTube. I've been wanting to make content that is enjoyable and watchable and essentially is basically funny for you guys to watch, but I haven't really done any of that in 4 years. And given that I haven't been completely gone from the internet, I have been keeping a keen eye on how YouTube and everything works nowadays and how much it has evolved over the course of 4 years. I definitely kind of had that feeling of maybe it's the right time to come back. Now, that's not to say that a lot of my stuff in the past was bad. No, that's not the right word there. And given that, like, as time progressed, I have been able to build a PC or actually buy a laptop because obviously the scalping crisis kind of made a lot of things very difficult for many people who wanted to do content, and it just made it difficult for me to build a PC. I just went with the option of screw it, buy a gaming laptop, and figure it out from there. And in the time that I've been away, I've kind of developed a lot of things like my own editing style. My humor has kind of changed a lot in those times. Obviously, I look a lot different because I didn't have a beard 4 years ago, and here I am now with a beard. So, yeah, there's that. But there's other things too where I kind of developed it. And there goes my camera. What was the thing I mentioned about quality? Uh, don't ever buy a Logitech C920. The webcam is actually kind of garbage. But I've brought up enough quality, or I've have enough quality to where I feel like maybe it's time to come back to YouTube. And given that I'm coming back at a weird time where a lot of big name YouTubers are like completely retiring or they're completely just leaving YouTube and just like taking a break, it's a really weird timing for someone like me who's just an average Joe who just wants to come back to YouTube and just try and at least like gain a foothold in something on this website. It has been a long 4 years, and it has definitely been the most strenuous 4 years where I've really had to think about if I want to come back to YouTube, because in the past 4 years I've just been streaming, and I have had a couple of offshoot channels that I've done, and I've actually been doing a lot of things with All Ages of Geek, which is one of the things I mentioned when I left, was that I wanted to focus on that channel and focus on working with the company. And given that I kind of have developed a lot of things and I've learned a lot of things and I've kind of gotten a general understanding of how a lot of things work, it kind of made sense that I just said, why don't I give it another try? I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but that's kind of the only thing I could think of, is just, yeah, being away kind of just made me think really hard about what is the next steps that I want to take. Which, speaking of those next steps, I guess what's going to be next for this channel, what are the things that are, to be expected? Well, the name change is one. Obviously, I'm no longer Lightware 13. I go by Dio Streams YT, meaning YouTube. And essentially, this is where my gaming content's going to be, but I also want to do other things like reactions, talk about sports, essentially be more myself and basically give you guys an idea of like what's the type of stuff that I do and the things that I enjoy, instead of kind of doing things that I don't really enjoy or things that are just I'm basically half-assing, and I don't want to half-ass anymore. I want to be able to give you guys something that you enjoy, and it's something that I also enjoy too. And that is something that is kind of difficult to do or that was something that was difficult for me to do when I didn't have a budget behind me, which was also another thing, was that I had no budget in doing my content. And now I have a better budget. I need a better webcam, but everything else obviously is good. And I could actually use this microphone to good use finally. Hopefully, with the change of things, I can be able to do things that are enjoyable, and hopefully it's enjoyable to you guys. I really hope that me coming back will be able to rekindle this fire in me. Although I don't want to do it like relentlessly like I was doing for the past 10 years. I want to be able to do it at a schedule for me that feels comfortable, to where I can probably move into doing this a little more often than not. And given with how the landscape is too, where I have seen a lot of other YouTubers who kind of have the same thing as me, where they're working with barely nothing and they're basically, they're growing, like some YouTube channels that I've seen. I want to give it a try, and I don't want to give up entirely. I want to try and push forward and not give up on this dream of being a YouTuber. So with that being said, I don't have any content ready for now, but I do hope that in the coming months there is some stuff that I can produce that maybe you guys will like, and hopefully it's stuff that I will be willing to upload and, show you guys the type of stuff that I'm into, and essentially me having fun with my friends and some of the videos that I love enjoying to watch and all that other stuff. And maybe a podcast, because I remember I used to do a podcast, and now it's like, yeah, I could do a podcast about anything at this point, because who doesn't like watching a video about someone rambling about sports or gaming or whatever? I mean, podcast is kind of the new thing nowadays. So with that being said, I just thank you for those who are still sticking around, and those who kind of held tightly to see if I'm going to come back to YouTube, and especially with this whole rebranding thing. And not only that, like, a lot of my old videos are now unlisted, but I do hope that you guys are willing to stick around and be patient with me, because I'm doing the best I can with what I've been given, essentially. But I do want to give you guys my best, but I also want to have fun in doing it. So with that being said, I hope that you guys are prepared for this next journey, for this next chapter, and I will give you the best that I can give you. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care. Have a great day.